The last several weeks I've wanted to make a video to talk about one specific thing, but I just haven't had a chance to. But there was a comment made on the Facebook page earlier today that's going to give me the perfect segue into that. So this morning I saw a comment by a man named William who said that he had family members in the DAR and he was scolding us for talking about all of these topics in a public way. He wanted to know if we knew that Facebook was a public forum. He said that we shouldn't be airing out our dirty laundry in this way. We should handle it privately. He said that we were cheapening the organization and that we were causing it to become less respected. So what I would say is I don't disagree with William in principle in that it would be so much better if we could handle this privately and if we weren't doing this out in the public. But I disagree that we are the ones that are cheapening the organization and causing it to become less respected. It's been a tremendous lack in leadership that is the cause of that. Members have tried everything to handle this privately. So for the better part of a year, after the President General announced in 2023 that men are eligible for membership in the DAR, emails would either go unanswered or they would be responded to with vague or erroneous references to civil rights law that don't apply to private member associations. Members were admonished for posting on the DAR private social media forums, the Facebook and the Daughters Online community. Not only were they admonished for that, but those posts were taken down and members were told if you keep talking about it, you're going to get kicked off of these platforms. We were told that we cannot use our member directories in order to communicate with other members and chapters about this, or we would be violating what they call a circularization policy. And one of the biggest things is that members were told, me in particular, that seeking a bylaw amendment would be violating our oath that we took as officers, and maybe as members, but as officers for sure. How that makes sense, I don't know, but that's all to say of the extreme pushback and the extreme wall that members were up against to try to have our voices heard, try to communicate with each other, to talk about this very important subject. So that's my segue into what I've really wanted to tell all of you is that don't let anyone tell you that as a dues-paying member that you cannot bring up any topic at a meeting. There is nobody that has the authority to tell you that you're not going to discuss it as a chapter, whether it's your regent, your parliamentarian, whoever it may be, your state regent. Nobody has that authority. Every member has the right to the floor during the appropriate time, which is usually new business. So the way it works is chapters decide if they're going to talk about something as a chapter or they're going to take any kind of an action as a chapter. The regent doesn't unilaterally say, we're not going to discuss this as a chapter. The chapter decides that. So the way it works is members make motions, and if you get a second, that means somebody else in the chapter agrees that this is something that they want to talk about and vote on. If you don't get a second, then that means nobody else in your chapter cares about this, and then the chapter will have spoken and will have decided. That's the way that process works. And I'm not telling you to bring this up, whether it's this topic of restoration or whatever it may be. I'm just letting you know what your right is as a member. And I had to learn this myself because you think you know instinctually that every member has the right to the floor, but when you have people who have been in DAR much longer than you and people who are in a position of leadership telling you that you can't do something, you tend to believe them, and like I did. And it's only because we've had to dig and research ourselves and learn that we are the national society. We are the members that make up the society, and the President General and the Board of Management and your chapter regent, your state regent, all of those officers are tasked with duties of carrying out the business of the society, which is made up of all of the regular members like you and me. So you have just as much of a right to the floor as any other member, whether it's an officer, a state officer, or a national officer. Be armed with that truth, with those facts, and we have references to all of those parliamentary rules, Robert's Rules of Order. If you need those, we have those on the Restoration Facebook page and on the Restoration website if you need those resources. But ladies, just know that you have the right to bring something up. That's your decision. And then it's your chapter's decision on whether or not to second that and go through with it. Don't let anyone tell you that you cannot bring up this topic or any other topic.